The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the podcast platform, its affiliates, or even the hosts. The information provided is for general informational purposes only and should not be taken as legal, financial, or professional advice. The host and guests are not liable for any errors of omission in the content, nor for any losses, injuries, or damages arising from the use of the information provided. Listeners are encouraged to seek professional advice relevant to their specific circumstances.
Welcome to Tea and Herbalism with Lady D, and I'm Lady D. Thank you for joining me for season 2. I'm excited and happy to have you with me. So today we're going to be talking about cinnamon. So most people have cinnamon in their cabinets. This is ground cinnamon, and this says ground Saigon cinnamon, and there's 2 different cinnamons that people mostly use. So this is Ceylon, Ceylon, Ceylon cinnamon, which is considered true cinnamon. And these are cinnamon sticks. And this is Cinnamomum verum. So this is the other cinnamon, which is considered Cassia cinnamon. And they each have different properties that can help you. And you probably already know I have the essential oils. This one is the Cinnamomum verum, which is the Cassia. And, actually Ceylon, sorry. This one is the Ceylon cinnamon. And then I have this other one, which is Cinnamomum. I have it right here. First one I was telling you about. Hey, good people here. Yes, Cinnamomum Cassia. So the bottle says Cassia, Cassia. So there's the 2 different strains of cinnamon that most people use or have in their cabinets. So today the tea we're going to have is a wild sweet orange. So you probably noticed I like to save containers. I save jars and wash them out. We just had like dried cheese in it. If you know the bottle, you know what that was. And I actually had this tea bag from this one company. It was Wild Sweet Orange. And I enjoyed it so much. I said, I want to look and see if I have these ingredients. So I had most of them. So I ended up just making my own blend of their Wild Sweet Orange. So mine has lemongrass. I wrote some spearmint. I probably actually had peppermint instead. Orange peel, rose petals, and licorice root. So we're gonna go ahead. You know I have to start by lighting my tea light. So my tea is hot. It stays that way. Okay, I said it wants to be difficult. There you go. The tea light is lit. So I'm just going to eyeball the tea. I may use 2 teaspoons. I may use 4. And I know you've seen my tea bloom teaspoon. It measures out exactly 1 teaspoon. So let's see. Let's see what we get here. I'm going to have them heaping. So it's over and above. Yep, I can see those rose petals, and the orange, lemongrass. That's 3. We'll go ahead and do 4. Yeah, so I use 4 heaping teaspoons of my version of the wild sweet orange pie from this natural brand. And if you recognize the label, hey, you recognize the label. You know what brand that was. All right, so I spelled wonderful tea on my computer. So here we have it, the dried tea. I'm going to go and get some hot water and add it. So let's see if I could do a teapot in each hand. I'm just going to pour just enough for a cup. Put 8 ounces, maybe a little more. And you can see how it's already a nice amber color. You know what we're going to do now? Put the lid on. Keep that herbal goodness inside. We'll give it about five or so minutes. Come back to it. It's already a beautiful color. So, I want to just take a moment to show you I'm wearing this shirt. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. This guy on Instagram, he goes by 2-Bit Cipher. So it's the number 2-Bit Cipher. And I think it's hilarious. And one morning I just heard him say, Hallelujah. And I was hooked. So I messaged him like, yeah, it's so cool. Because on our show on Mondays, the Ops, we have Pettyville. And we usually have a good Pettyville. So I was like, I wish I had come up with Hallelujah. So look, and not only is it on the front, but it's even larger on the back, because you couldn't see it. So we're standing on that. So I ordered this from his Etsy shop. So I'm sure if you want it, you can find it on there, or go to his Instagram and link to his Etsy shop. I think he has what is it called? Link tree or tree link, something like that there. So I'm showing my support. And we do have t-shirts for the United Front. If you went to our United Front Network website, and you can order yourself a United Front shirt. It's one of the next things I'm looking at purchasing. So let's go back to cinnamon. Cinnamon is in the Lauraceae family, which is the laurel family. And again, there's the 2 kinds, Cassia and Ceylon, which Ceylon is considered the true cinnamon. So if there's a cinnamon war, Ceylon is considered the true cinnamon. Cinnamon is a spice taken from the inner bark of the cinnamon tree. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I meant to break one of these up to put in the tea, because we're doing our own thing here. So I want to show you, this is the cinnamon. When they scrape it off the bark of the tree, and it curls up. It has the 2 curls, like from each end. So if something calls for cinnamon sticks, you can just take the cinnamon stick. If something calls for chips, just take it, and you can break it up. Now I have cinnamon chips. You can put it in a bag and use a hammer, depending on the quantity, or just like what I'm doing now, just take your hands and break it, because it is brittle. It's a dried cinnamon stick from the bark of the tree. And it is edible as it is. You just put it in your mouth. So I'm going to go ahead and add this to the tea while it's brewing. Just going to move those sticks so I can talk. So cinnamon has many benefits. But Cassia has more benefits, okay, according to the research. So Cassia may treat diabetes. And yes, these statements have not been approved by the FDA, but Cassia Cinnamon may treat diabetes and control blood sugar. Ceylon cinnamon has more antioxidants and is best for medicinal use. So, and cinnamon improves insulin sensitivity. Take that what you will with that. The cinnamon has anti-inflammatory compounds and antioxidants, antibacterial and antifungal. It inhibits the growth of some bacteria, and it's a hypoglycemic, which means it helps with blood sugar. So all it means is that if you have pain due to inflammation, cinnamon helps relieve that inflammation and therefore relieves the pain. Okay, so always please check with your doctor for possible medication interactions because cinnamon can interact with medications. So, again, if I mentioned the cinnamon war, so the type of cinnamon that people should use is controversial. So, it's up to you which one you choose to use, whichever one you have your cabinet, it should help you out. So, Cassia cinnamon contains higher amounts of coumarin, which can be harmful in higher doses. And Ceylon is often preferred as a supplement. So if you had empty capsules, they have those gel capsules, you could fill the capsules with cinnamon and take the cinnamon pills if you chose to. So it could be make your own supplement, or you could go and buy cinnamon caplets. So Cassia cinnamon lowers the fasting blood sugar levels and improves insulin sensitivity with consistent use. So that's the key. You have to use it consistently for it to help you with lowering those blood sugar levels. So too much cinnamon can cause blood sugar levels to drop too low. So be careful. And it does reduce the bad LDL cholesterol and it lowers the triglycerides in your body. So you may want to work with a naturopath and your doctor or herbalist and your doctor when you're taking cinnamon so it could benefit you the best way it can. So cinnamon has been shown to protect the neurons in the brain. So that's amazing. It normalizes neurotransmitter levels, which may improve motor function in Parkinson's patients. And again, not approved by the FDA. These statements, take with that what you will. Here for just educational purposes. So the parts used is the bark, like I showed you a moment ago. I broke that whole stick up and threw it in the tea, but the bark of the tree. So this is from the inside of the bark of the tree. Lunar Love by Denise, where everything is handmade in small batches. You can reach me at my Etsy website or at my email address and place your order. I'm also known as Lady D. Thank you. And chips. So basically, the sticks, you break them into smaller portions and they're chips. You could powder it, like if you had a mortar and pestle, or ground cinnamon already. Someone took the time to grind it. And then I showed you the essential oil, which if you're buying essential oil, it's good to know your Latin names because these are two different cinnamons. This is from the bark, and this is cassia from the leaf, and it does say on here from the leaf of the plant, or the leaf of the tree rather. And you can also use the twigs and dried flowers. So I want to say the energetics are warming and drying. So when I open this up, so it's like ginger, hot. So when I open this up and smell it, it's a sharp, hot scent. So you don't want to put this directly on your skin. You will need a carrier oil because you could burn yourself. And that's just because it's warming and drying. And the taste is pungent and sweet. So you get both, the punch and the sweetness. You could use it for toothache. So it's kind of like if you had clove oil, you can drop clove oil in. Well, I put it on a Q-tip. So you could put this on a Q-tip, but you're going to want to rinse your mouth with some water or something because it's hot. And that's part of the energetics of cinnamon. So again, you can use it for toothaches, diarrhea, blood movement, infections, arthritis, which we talked about, the inflammation and pain earlier, and insulin resistance, colds and flu. So if you have a cold or a flu, you can brew cinnamon tea or tea with cinnamon and help shorten your cold. So the preparations are tea, which we're doing today, a tincture, which I usually share is with alcohol or glycerin if you can't deal with alcohol. So we usually use vodka, a higher proof, like 80 proof, sometimes 100 proof, depending on that herb. Or if you, for whatever reason, you can't, well, some people like to use brandy too, but the go-to is usually vodka. But if for some reason you can't have alcohol, use glycerin, okay, to make your tincture. And then culinary, because most people have this in their cabinet. We like to put it on sweet potatoes, cinnamon toast. You can put your sugar and then put the cinnamon or little pinches and cookies and different desserts. So yeah, culinary when you cook. And then some people actually make a tooth powder. So you could probably find a recipe online on how to make a tooth powder from cinnamon. And it is found in chai tea blends. So it usually has like cardamom, cinnamon, and other things in chai tea, which chai means tea. So it's basically saying tea. This is interesting. So let's see. Let's check on our tea. Okay. I think I'm going to add a little sugar. Oh, I wanted to show this cup. Isn't that so cute? A friend of mine got this from a garage, not a garage, an estate sale for me. So many teacups. They're so beautiful. And this saucer that matches so perfectly. Look at that. So I have more teacups and teapots to share with you. So actually the teapot we'll be using today, I got it from Facebook Marketplace. This is the teapot I'll be showing. One of my Facebook Marketplace finds. It doesn't have a name on the bottom. It just says made in China. It's a little disappointing. I don't know who the manufacturer is, but it's a cute set. It has the sugar bowl and the creamer. And there's a little tray, which I'm thinking is for tea bags. Use tea bags. Which, yes, I do on occasion use a tea bag. I used one yesterday. We'll have a show when we talk about tea bags. And look at this tray. How cute is that? And all of it was on this tray. Looking all fancy. So, let me put these items back. So, I'm going to go ahead, just because we're indulging in tea. Going to, oh, you're not going to be able to see me. I'm going to go ahead and pour it into this one. Oops. I just recently learned about tea ceremonies. I watched a documentary yesterday on YouTube about tea ceremonies and the history of tea in China. It was wonderful, actually. I'm glad that missed my computer. I can be clumsy. So it was just great to learn about. Like when I poured it, like they have a whole term for that. The way it pours, and then they pour the first cup out into this tray with holes, like the first offering, and they said that's for their enemies. I'm like, well, that's nice. So they pour the first cup for their enemies, and the subsequent cup for themselves to enjoy. I said that's interesting for them to think of their enemies if they had one, and pour them a cup of tea, or serving of tea. Yes, it's kind of hard to be mad at someone you're pouring tea for, huh? So here we go. I'm going to go ahead now and pour it into the cute cup, beautiful cup from this beautiful teapot. I was able to give it a nice home to be loved. I also learned that in China, they don't add anything to the tea. They talk about all the different brands, the black tea, oolong tea, um, green tea, and just how they carefully pick the tea leaves. It's like a whole spiritual experience, basically. And then even the way they pour the tea and share it with someone. So here we go. It's fabulous. It's warm, it's soothing. I wanted to share this with a friend. Thank you for joining me today to learn about cinnamon and how it has the two different strains of cinnamon that we use, and how there's many forms: ground, the sticks, the essential oils, and how it can be used to help heal and manage health conditions. You saw my beautiful new tea set, a new teacup. So thank you for joining me on this journey to learn about cinnamon. So if you want to, please like and subscribe and share it with other people. I would appreciate that. Whether you're seeing it on the United Front Network YouTube page or on my YouTube page, Lady D444. If you want to donate to the network, please donate to PayPal. It's Our Gains II, and everything you donate goes back into the network. If you want to donate to the host, you can donate to me on Cash App, $Naturalista D. We'll post all of this in the comments. And please, if you want to learn about a different herb that I haven't already shared, go ahead and drop that in the comments and let us know. You can also email me at lunarlovebydenise@gmail.com. Thank you for joining us.